they say you have to learn your sides. Others have said have your sides in the back pocket because they may even have changed the script, give you a new iteration of it. You may need to. So which way do you go when you coach them in your coaching side of your business when it comes to sides and preparation and walking in?
So this is what I always say. You must always, there's no conversation. You must always be memorized. And you must also always be flexible enough to be able to change it. But you must be memorized, because what you don't want is you don't want to be holding your sides. Let's say you're not memorized. So you depend on them a little bit. You don't want to be doing this.
Yep. No.
Every time you look down, it takes you out of the character. Yep. And if you're doing something really serious and you're really into it and you're doing and you're telling them, and I just want to tell you how much I it just cuts it. It breaks it. You know what I mean? It ruins it. So I say you must I've watched thousands, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands at this point of auditions.
Oh,
the people who are doing this and then break character because they have to look down because they forgot. And then you need it to flow. You need to be in the character. Even if you're not 100% word for word.
Go for it. Just do it.
Yes.
Own it, right? You have to walk in the room and own it.
That's right.
Now, when it comes to, because you're meeting them first coming in, the first glance, everything else, as the process rolls on, they often have to meet with their co-star or someone they're going to do a major scene with to check that chemistry you talked about way back at the beginning of the show. Are you involved with that, or is that more higher level evaluation, or do you all get in that together?
No, I don't. Every once in a while, if the actor happens to be in town, sometimes they bring them in together. Like I've done it in my office where we bring people in to see if they can, mesh. But usually when there's that level, because the people that I cast usually are not that high stakes.
Yep. Okay.
Or it's not crucial. But sometimes what they'll do, they do a read through before the shoot. Yeah. So everybody sits around the table, or of late, everybody is around the Zoom. And so they, they match, they interact that way. And sometimes they have recast based on those read throughs and based on, I've seen that.
So now you also have won a couple of different awards here, but both
the Audios, it's the Audios Award.
Yeah. So tell us about that, because it popped up several times. What exactly is that, and how do you earn it?
Okay, so I'm in an organization called the CSA, which stands for Casting Society of America. Mm-hmm. And it's the casting organization. Like directors have the DGA, the Directors Guild, et cetera. So the CSA is our organization. And you have to get letters of recommendation. You have to have so many years of credits on screen, et cetera. And then within our organization, we have an award called the Audios Award. And the Audios Award is like our little Oscar, if you will. And so I've actually been nominated for that 8 different times out of Florida. But I work in conjunction with the LA casting director or the New York casting director. So they're the main casting director. I'm the location casting director. Mm-hmm. And I've won it twice. That's nice.
No, I mean, not everyone can win that. I mean, that to me is like a big cherry on top of everything you've done and accomplished. Have you ever thought about continuing to level up and actually direct, produce, do anything outside of this casting director role that you've done?
I think I'd be a really good producer because I'm really good with money. That's the producer's the money person. And I've actually saved producers lots of money just because I can't stand waste. And I remember doing a television series once, and they were paying their guest star actors $50,000. And I just, $50,000. For the show, but it was only a couple of weeks, but they were paying that.
Yeah.
And I just thought, that's too much.
Yes.
So they had asked me to make the deal with the guest star that was coming in. And I was talking to the agent and I offered them 25. Oh, and they balked at that and they bucked me and I don't know, blah, blah, blah. In the end, I made the deal for 25. So I go to the producer and I said, okay. He goes, did you make the deal? I said, yes. He goes, so what is it? I said, we're paying her 25,000. And the producer said, what did you say? I said, we're paying her 25. He said, but I said, it just didn't seem right. And he said, oh my gosh, I should have you make all the deals. Because I know when I was an agent, I loved making the deals. Of course, I was on the side that I was trying to get more money, but
Yeah.
I'm good with that. So because of that, I think I'd be a good producer. I'm like good with organization and financial. And so, but you know what? I love casting and I love working with actors directly. So instead of doing producing or director, my offshoot, if you will, I've done actor mentoring. And I teach auditioning skills. Yeah. So that's my side hustle, if you will.
Now I'm going to go all the way back to Miami Vice but I want to switch it to your personal life because if I'm right, you met your husband on Miami Vice. How cool is that?
I did.
How did that go down?
Well, honestly, I met him, I guess, somewhere in the 1980s. Brought him in to read for something. Don't exactly quite remember meeting him exactly, but we met, and then he was good. Another. There are actors that come in that I go, oh, they have the it factor.
Yes.
He had the it factor. He had a very, very lucrative career. So he had the it factor. And we were just friends, like superficial friends. I'd see him. I knew when I brought him in, he was going to make me look good. And then we were friends like that for a few years, actually. Mm-hmm. And, one thing led to another. A group of people got together and during a Vice hiatus over Christmas time. And, let's go out and let's do this. And I don't know, about 10 of us. And that's it. And that was it.
There you go.
And here we are so many years later.
So also, this is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month that we're celebrating.
Right. Yes.
For those who've been tracking me on social media and stuff, I'm talking about the International Stutter Awareness. They both happen to be going on in October. But we bring this up because, Lori, you went through breast cancer. Mm-hmm. And you have a pretty interesting story. I would love if you don't mind sharing a little bit about what you went through, but also the fact that after all that was done, at age 45, you have a child. So you've got a couple of cool stories. Can you share some private stuff?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm going to take it back to Mark, my husband.
Yeah.
When we were dating, every time I'd book him or before I was dating, when we were just we just knew each other
colleagues.
Professionally. Yeah. He would give me little thank you notes and thank you gifts when he would book something. So one of the gifts that he gave me was a book, and it was called Confessions of a Kamikaze Cowboy, written by an actor named Dirk Benedict. And Dirk Benedict was on A-Team and yeah. So, and Dirk, and I didn't read books. I wasn't like a book reader kind of thing. So I'm like, I read a script every week, I have a lot going on. So he gave me this book written by an actor, and it was a story of how Dirk Benedict was diagnosed with, I want to say it was prostate cancer. I think it was prostate cancer. Okay. And how he cured it naturally through something called macrobiotics.
Wow.
And I read this book. I actually read it. And I said to myself, one day I'm going to be macrobiotic. It resonated with me. Mm-hmm. One day, and put the book away. And this is before I dated Mark or anything. I read this book. This is going to be me. Now, fast forward, Mark and I are married, and I find a lump, and they say you should check yourself. National Breast Cancer Awareness Month here. Yep. Make sure you check yourself, and it's a very curable disease if you catch it at the beginning. Once it gets out of control, then you're in trouble.
Right.
So I find out that I've got this malignant lump. I didn't think it would be malignant, but it was after I had a lumpectomy. And the doctor's like, okay, like they get into medical mode. We're going to do chemo, radiation, and a double mastectomy. And I said, no, that doesn't resonate with me. I'm going to become macrobiotic. And this doctor looks at me like right in the face and he goes, don't be stupid. As he said. And I looked at him and I said, I won't. And he said, I'm a Harvard fellow. And I said, uh-huh. And he said, you need to listen to me. And I said, it's my body. And Mark, God bless him, we were married. God bless you, Mark. He cooked for me. He went with me to this macrobiotic institute in the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts. And so I really kicked it into gear and I focused. And people were understanding, when people say, oh, let's go out for ribs. I was like, yeah, I can't do that anymore. Let's go out for hot fudge sundaes. And I was like, can't do that anymore. Let's go out and kick back a bunch of beers. Can't do that anymore. And that was my choice. And I share about this a lot when I talk to actors, when I speak. I had a woman come in my office one day. Her son was a little actor. And she came in. She was the mother, right? And she pulled me aside. She said, I heard you talk about your breast cancer journey. And she said, my sister had stage 4 breast cancer. The doctor gave her 3 months to live about 3 years ago. And I did what you said. She's fine. Yes. And there's so many stories that I don't know because I do a lot of lecturing. I do a lot of shows like this. Right. I do my own shows. I do stuff like this. You never know who's listening. You never know who's going to hear you.
Well, and then beyond that, you have a child at age 45.
I know.
Now, you're not supposed to do that. Were you told you're not supposed to do that?
Well, I'd never been pregnant in my life. And I was a career woman. Mark was a career guy. I mean, we were career people. We picked up and traveled. We didn't have dogs. We didn't have anything. We had no restrictions. And at that ripe old age, but because I completely cleaned out my system, right, and I was so healthy, all of a sudden I go, I look at that little at-home pregnancy test. I'm like, uh-oh, what's that? Greatest miracle in my life.
But then you took your child to set, to office, to different things. Anyway. She was a part of your life, and you brought her to work as a part of life. Very cool.
When she was something like 10 or 12, one of the people who was supposed to work for me that day didn't come in, and I needed someone to sit in the front of the room and you're next, and make sure you sign in. Like, I had this little kid sitting in the front of the room, and they all listened to her because she took command, and they thought she was so cute, Yeah.
Lori, this has been fantastic. I do want to make sure we do share your website. And on our website, you're going to find movie, commercial, film, TV, after TV. You're going to go, I know that. I saw that. Go check this out. But what other things do you have on your website?
On that's my casting website, Lori Wyman Casting.
Yep. And
gosh, some of the projects of the last few years, Bloodline, Ballers, Dolphin Tale 1 and 2, a great kids movie, Recount for HBO, Recount. One of my Audios awards was for Recount. I was nominated for an Emmy. That picture right there is at the Emmy, on the red carpet of the Emmy Awards in Los Angeles. Yeah, that was fun. That was so much fun. It's been a really, really fun career. It's been a great career. I've put in a lot of work, showing up at 5 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. I mean, some dreadful hours. You got to be passionate about it. If it's something that you want, if it's something that somebody wants, you've got to go all in 100%. My daughter wants to be an actress, and I said, "Oh, you're getting into the family business here, are you?" She just graduated with her BFA in acting, and I asked her, I said to her, is this something you really want to do? And she said, yes. I said, you really want to do it? And she said, yes. I said, then you're all in 100%. I said, and you're in until You're not anymore. You're in 100%. And that's what I recommend to my actors that I coach. You got to jump in with both feet, whatever your passion is, whatever your career is. You can't do it halfway. You have to really go over and above, because a lot of people don't. So if you go over and above, already you're going to be ahead of the game.
So that leads me to the final question of tonight, but it sets it up
Okay.
very, very, very well.
Okay.
What's the best one piece of advice you give somebody, an aspiring actor, that's get the call, they're going to go do their first audition? What's the best first audition advice you can give them?
First of all, follow the directions, read everything, know what they're telling you to do. If you have any questions, ask. I was always taught there's no such thing as a stupid question. Definitely a stupid mistake, but no such thing as a stupid question. And go for it. And go for it with all of your heart. Just go for it and know that we want you to be good. We want you to be good, because if you're good, hey, we can cast our role. Everybody's there for you. Do not feel that, that people are not on your side. It's nothing personal. It's not. Do not take things personally. We want you to be good. The better you are, the better our production looks.
So now you forced me to ask you a bonus question, because that was an incredible answer of landing the plane right there. But I've heard you say you need to have hope in this business. You talk about hope as one of the powerful forces, and you try to encourage your students, your actors that you work with, be hopeful and confident, because of the other side of the table is cheering you on, but they don't know that, do they?
No, they don't. They get scared. If somebody looks down at their phone during an audition, they think they don't like me. Yeah. If they look at their watch to see what time it is, they think, oh, I'm bored. And you know what? No, that's not the case at all. I remember doing a big movie, Marley and Me. Remember Marley and Me?
Oh, great movie.
No, great movie. And I remember sitting in the room, and one of the producers was in the room, and for the most part, they were on their phone. They were on the couch in the back, and the actress would walk in and they would do, and then they go right back to their phone. Mm-hmm. And so if the actor was watching that person, they said, oh my God, they didn't know who they were, right. But they said, oh my gosh, they're not looking at me. They're not paying attention to me. They don't. And I thought the same thing, honestly. I said, well, why are they here? They're not even watching my casting, And let me tell you something. At the end, when the whole casting was over, and what you do is what we did that day anyway, you take the headshots of all the actors and you put them on the floor. We put them on the floor. Sometimes I had this big wall. We'd put them up on the wall. And there was a role of a girl in a bathing suit on the beach, one of the roles. And the director and the other casting director and I were talking about who we liked better. Mm-hmm. That girl who I thought absolutely was the right character. That girl or somebody else. And the producer, who had been sitting on the couch the whole time looking down at their phone, looks up and says, I like the girl with the turquoise shirt, and goes right back down. And I thought, yes, that's exactly who should be cast. So they were watching the whole time. They were paying attention the whole time. So you never know. You just never know. And I always say, don't take no for an answer. If you can't get in the door, go in the window. If you can't get in the window, go down the chimney. But by gosh, keep going.
Going as a typist, secretary, and you may find yourself doing other great things, right?
Yep.
Lori S. Wyman. Remember the name. Go check out her website. Lori, it's been great having you here on Rock the Stage. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, another great show tonight. And again, we're always back every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, with more guests, more insights. We go from Hollywood to authors to you name it. They're here, going around the world now on 19 different countries around the world, and streaming in over 200 plus episodes, and much, much more still coming. So thanks for being with us tonight. Make a comment, add a like, add a share. Come back here 7 p.m. Eastern time for another edition of Rock the Stage next Sunday night.